Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Umineko. After being called an idiot, Shannon responds.
家具のくせに家具のくせに
私、家具じゃないよ。も
う。嘘だ。どうして自分を騙すんだよ。人間になんか絶対になれないって知ってるくせに。黄金鏡へ行かなきゃ人間になれないって知ってるくせに。なのに、どうして黄金鏡へ生きる約束を自分で保護に。
そっか。指輪を受け取ったら、ベアトリーチェ様との約束がなかったことになっちゃうんだったね。ごめんね。
あとは、僕も姉さんも、ジョージ様も親方様もみんな条件は同じだ。13人が生贄にされる。5人しか黄金鏡に招かれない。その一石を蹴るなんて。
おかしいね。未練があるのはカノン君の方みたいだね。
未練があるのは姉さんの方じゃないか。婚約しちゃったんだろう。果たせない運命なのを知りながら。
ずっとずっと永遠に一緒だよって約束した。だからね、その瞬間に私たちの永遠は完成したの。たとえ私たちが生贄になってしまうとしても。だからいいの。未練があるのはむしろカノン君の方。私たちは家具なんでしょ。私たちはどういう結果になろうとも解放される。なら黄金鏡に行けるか行けないかなんてどうでもいいことじゃない。なのにカノン君は黄金鏡へ行くことに固執してる。どうしても人間になりたいんでしょ。どうして？
人間になりたいからだよ。家具はもう嫌だ。
どうして？
僕も恋がしたかったんだ。
Tears were coming from both of Cannon's eyes, and he howled.
お嬢様のことが好きだった。そしてあの日のお嬢様の姿を見てもっと好きになった。そしてお嬢様も僕のことが好きだと分かって、でも僕は核でお嬢様の気持ちを受け止めることはできなくて。
それが勘違いだった。私たちは家具かもしれない。人間以下かもしれない。でも恋をする資格がないわけじゃなかった。
添い遂げられぬ思いならない方がマシだって思った。いつか自分も消え去る日が来て、それがきっとお嬢様を傷つけるなんて勝手に決めつけて、僕が怯えていただけなんだ。僕は永遠になれない恋ならしない方がマシだって怯えてた。
セミは生涯のうち数週間にも満たないわずかな期間で恋をして消えていくんだって。数週間で終わる恋だからと恋をしないセミはいないんじゃないかな。
It seemed that Cannon was still speaking of his regrets, but by now it was all jumbled up in his crying voice.
あの魔女が憎い。僕にどうしてこんな気持ちを植え付けて。あいつさえ妙ないたずらをしなければ、僕はお嬢様のことなんか気にならなかったのに。
ベアトリーチェ様はひどいね。カノン君にそうやって悔し泣きをさせるために運命をいたずらした。でも魔女の思惑は多分外れてる。だって
Knowing love isn't a regret that ties you to life. It is the place we should reach on our journey through life. Of course, that's probably not going to matter soon, because everyone's going to die and stuff.
というわけだカノン。せっかくの約束はこれで遂行だな。さてさて、これにて全ての駒の条件は同じよ。駒は18、13人が生贄に捧げられる。生き残る5人は誰か、それとも誰かがこの儀式を打ち壊してみせるか。誰がどうやってこれはチェスプロブレムではない、対等なゲームだ。わらわだけが一方的に詰めるわけではない。そなたはわらわの詰めから懸命に逃れ続け、引き分け無効試合に持ち込むことができる。まあせいぜいそなたにできるのはそれを延々と繰り返すのが関の山よ。そしておそらくそれはそなたにとってそう難しいことではあるまい。しかしそなたは永遠に続く無効試合にやがて精神をすり減らし、やがては精神を殺す。その時にこそ敗北を受け入れ、わらわに屈服することになるであろう。対等なゲームといった理由、それはわらわにも敗北の条件を設けてあることだ。
I'm assuming we have the same rules as before the find the gold and you win thing.
負けのないゲームほど退屈なものはないのでな。わらわを任す方法、それはわらわの肖像画に捧げられたあの日、あれこそは黄金鏡の扉の開き方にして同時に儀式を打ち破る鍵でもある。わらわは碑文に従い儀式を完遂する。
That was one thing I noticed last time, was that we attempted to solve the epitaph, but then it kind of just fell apart. So I wonder if we'll be a little bit luckier this time and actually try to make some progress on it at least, even if we don't get completely through it.
碑文に隠された謎を解き、わらわが金蔵に値し莫大なる黄金のありかを暴いてみせよ。こたびのゲームはどういう結末を見せるのやら、健闘を期待するぞ。わらわを楽しませてみせろよ、後ろ宮バトラー。
Ooh. Some sort of cathedral? Is this a cathedral on the island, or is this somewhere different?
異論はない。私と夏日は認める。
信じられないし、信じたくないけれど、それが現実なのね。
夏日、言葉を少し選びなさい。彼女は当家の最高の賓客なのだ。わしらも認める。
I forgot to tell you, we have a ginormous cathedral in our house. Whoops.
グの根も出え。
へえ、認めるわ。一遍の文句もない。まさか本当に素直にあなたに尊敬の念を覚えるわ。私もよ。すごいわ。純粋に尊敬する。だから認めざるを得ないわ。
俺も認めるぜ。だがどうしようね。悪魔を証明しちまった。あんたの勝ちだ。
悪魔の証明はそなたが好む証明不能への便利な言い訳だったが、あだになったようだな。
いじめるなよ魔女様。俺はもうあんたを認めてるぜ。降参だ。キ
リエ、まだ異論があるか。 わらわは全員一致しか好まぬ。お前一人がわらわの存在を認めぬならば。
This is weird. As the witch laughed boldly, the siblings started getting frantic. They were afraid of displeasing the witch. Kyrie lightly closed her eyes and, after keeping silent for a while, opened her mouth.
ごめんなさい、降参よ。
Only Kyrie had faced the witch with stern eyes until the end. However, she had only been able to resist acknowledging the truth for a short time. The truth, the being, that was before her eyes, couldn't be denied. Devils had already been proven.
私も認めるわ。あなたはベアトリーチェ、後ろ宮家の顧問錬金術師、そして偉大なる魔法の使い手、魔女であることを認めざるを得ない。
I'm kind of getting some interesting crossovers between that section and the section where all the adults died. It isn't exactly the same, but we never really figured out exactly what happened to the adults. We just think they might have been killed in the dining room, and then they were moved to the shed. At least that's kind of what it looks like. Or they might have been dragged to the shed and then killed there, I don't know, but for some reason I feel like there's some sort of connection between those two. I don't know. Ceremony's finally beginning. Someone failed to mention the giant cathedral to me. Oh yeah, it's just sitting out back. We got it built recently, in case anyone needed to go to church, and we wanted to bring 100 of our friends with us. Maybe even have a wedding on the side. Definitely need that many pews in there. Yeah, see, that's what makes me wonder. I feel like that cathedral scene, I cannot talk. That cathedral scene is something entirely different. Kind of in the same way that Battler scene with Beatrice in the tea room is entirely different. There's something about it that's way, way different. And let's see the aftermath. Who got killed off first? I hope it wasn't Kyrie. I kind of want her to be around. It would be fun to see what she has to say. What was the sound that always filled the ears? The sound of the rain? The sound of a waterfall? Or was it radio static? In that case, I want it to be the sound of blood flowing through the body. I want it to be the sound of blood circulating throughout my body, telling me that I am still alive. Well, you're not dead yet. The light entering through a crack in the curtain was faint, but it at least told him that dawn had broken. Kinzo, still acting like the one who has just woken up, was sitting in a chair and looking up at the ceiling, felt the blood slowly travel throughout his body. Judging by the clock, it was early morning, 6 o'clock on the dot. No matter how tired he was, no matter how deeply he slept, he woke up at exactly this time, as though he had measured it with an hourglass. He didn't think that something like this would lead him to boast, but he instructed himself that while he could still do something like this, he was still in robust health.
朝を迎えたということは、どうやら最初の生贄は逃れたということらしい。ルーレットの目が幸運だったのか、我が努力の賜物なのか。区別のつかぬところが何とももどかしいが、それは言うまい。
I mean, you did just say that, but okay. Kinzo was very slightly driven by a temptation to see outside of the study door, because he thought that maybe he might find traces of a vain struggle to break the door, made by something trying to select him as one of the first 6 sacrifices.
人間とは安っぽい生き物だな。人事を尽くして天命を待ちながら幸運を得られた時にはそれが単なる幸運ではなく己の技量によるものだったとうぬぼれたくもなる。
So he wanted to check whether there was a wretched mark on the door. That's what humans would do. Therefore, Kinzo did not check. He repressed things that he wanted to do because he was human. By that, Kinzo could be immersed in a feeling of sufficiency, as though he himself had become a being that surpassed humans. He became aware of human desire, and forbade it. Things that a human wanted to do, he resisted. This eccentricity and rebellious sense had surely given him a rare genius, which must have allowed him to succeed in his exploits, as he revived the Urashiramiya family in 1 generation.
さて、ベアトリーチェ、お前が取った6つの駒は何なのか。そして次なる手はどう来るのか。楽しませてもらうぞ。私の守りは完璧だ。前回のような無様はさらさぬぞ。
The servants woke early. All of them, or just some of them, they had to open the curtains, prepare breakfast, and complete various other tasks to welcome the guest to a new day. Goto was the most enthusiastic, not dead. During the family conference, he had been told to especially concentrate his efforts on cooking, and he had been specifically exempted from several tasks that servants normally must do. It seemed that Goto, who was a show-off, had a particular feeling of supremacy about it. He left the preparations of the inside of the mansion to Genji and the rest, and worked on preparing breakfast in the kitchen. Genji, also not dead, split the work with Shannon and Cannon, who probably also aren't dead unless he's splitting the work of dead people, and they carried out various tasks. Shannon headed to the dining hall, probably not dead, and knocked. Last year, the family conference had continued into the early hours of the morning. It wouldn't have been odd for this year's conference to continue until the early morning. Considering the possibility that they were still having a discussion inside, she knocked. But there was no response, so she opened the door and said good morning. The room was cold, and it seemed that the conference had ended a long time before. On top of the table, there was a tea set, from which they had probably been drinking, arranged in a way that it would make it easy to clean them up. Cleaning up the tea was a servant's job, so if the family was too caring and cleaned it up themselves, the servants would lose face. Therefore, just doing this much for the servants truly was a pleasing act of kindness. As she approached the table to clean it, she noticed something like a memo that had been left with the utensils. It had been placed together with the tea set, so, naturally thinking it was a memo for the servant cleaning up, Shannon took it. Written on it was not a request, nor was it thanks for preparing the tea. There was just a single word. Shannon looked at it blankly and read it out loud. Since when did we get a chapel? I don't remember that. A small sound kept repeating over and over. It was a sound that was normally worthless and boring. If only I could stop hearing it soon, then I could quickly return to my doze, someone thought vaguely. But no matter how much time passed, the sound did not end. It repeated over and over. Ah, shut up. Who is it? Banging on the door the whole time. As soon as she noticed that, she woke up. Someone was knocking. Then, she noticed that it wasn't just a knock, but a voice.
Rosa-sama. Rosa-sama. Ohayou gozaimasu.
待って、今行きます。
Okay, so Rose is probably not dead. Unless someone's impersonating Rose's voice. It had been Genji's voice. Looking at the clock, it was still before 7. It was clearly too early to wake the guests. Did something happen that was bad enough to cause this? She felt her sleeplessness increasingly fade thanks to this premonition of misfortune. Because Genji had been a familiar servant to Rosa since her childhood days, even though she was slightly defenseless in her pajamas, she opened the door a crack and answered.
おはようございます。早朝から申し訳ございません。
何かあったの？
はい。実は礼拝堂に。
When did we get a chapel? Genji spoke into Rose's ear and told her something in a small voice. For a second, it seemed that Rosa couldn't understand what she had been told. And after having it repeated several times, she realized that, apparently, something strange had happened. Rosa closed her door for a second and, after changing her clothes, she immediately accompanied Genji and they headed to the mansion. The chapel requires some explanation, please do. It wasn't in the mansion, but in a grove behind the mansion, which could be reached after a short walk. It had been built at the same time that the mansion had been constructed on Rokkenjima. So while its outside walls had been repaired many times, making it look new from the outside, it was a very old building. Rosa dashed through the rain along with Genji. Just like the previous night, the rain was falling in earnest. Good lord, that is a big building. Eventually, they began to see the chapel beyond a thin grove. Because they could only see it from the outside, it felt like a place of dazzling beauty, where a pair of young lovers might want to hold a ceremony. I bet that's going to come up later. However, it seemed that in Kinzo's eyes, this was a very sacred place. So Rosa and her siblings had been harshly told not to approach it unnecessarily. So even though they had grown up, they would feel some guilt if they approached the chapel, no matter what the reason. And felt some fear, as though their father would get angry and hit them in the face. The servants' silhouettes could be seen in front of the entrance to the chapel. Goda, Shannon, and Cannon. Which meant that all of the servants on the morning shift had gathered. A short while ago, Genji had spoken to Rosa, telling her what the situation was. However, without laying eyes on it directly, she really hadn't been able to understand it. Probably all the servants gathered there were the same. Without seeing it with their own eyes, they couldn't understand what was going on. Oh boy! On the door at the entrance to the chapel was something very large, drawn in a creepy, stringy paint that made one think of blood. Blood. Something like a creepy magic circle. Probably a creepy magic circle? The servants looked at each other. Goda was the first one to open his mouth.
申し訳ございません。普段はここへは立ち入りませんもので、いつ書かれたのかはわかりません。
じゃあ、最初に見つけたのは誰？はい、
私です。食堂へお茶の道具の片付けに行きましたら、
Oh.
礼拝堂と書かれたメモがあったもので。
I didn't advance that text. That was weird. Okay, I hope you read that. Go back and pause if you want to read that.
誰の字？兄さんや姉さんの字ではないわね。それであなたはここへ来てこれを見つけたのね。
はい。
ローザ様、これを。
何？ハッピーハロウィン。
Cannon pointed at a single line of English written below the creepy magic circle. Until it had been pointed out to her, she thought it was just another part of the magic circle and hadn't noticed it. There, words were written in English. Happy Halloween for Maria. Here's your prize, dead people. Happy Halloween. For Maria. This creepy magic circle. For Maria. Happy Halloween. Yesterday, the only person who had said Happy Halloween to Maria, the symbol matched. The Golden Witch, Beatrice.
Maria は？あの子、いとこたちと一緒に寝てるはずよね。確認した？
申し訳ございません。マリア様のお名前が書かれていたことには今まだ確認しておりません。至急。
何やってんのよ。私はマリアの様子を見てきます。それからクラウス兄さんたちにも知らせて。
Assuming they're still alive.
以後の対応の指示を受けて。
After saying that much, Rosa finally noticed a feeling of discomfort. Her own rank of this family conference was the lowest of the four siblings. Why was she the only one called in an abnormal situation like this, when the other siblings hadn't been called? Even if Maria's name had popped up.
はい、旦那様にご連絡申し上げようとしたのですが、お姿が見当たらず。
奥様もお部屋におられません。シーツの様子からすると、昨夜はベッドに戻られていないのかもしれません。
Rosa felt something creepily crawling slowly up her back.
礼拝堂の中確認した？い
え、まだです。確認しようとしたのですが。
実は礼拝堂の鍵は特別でマスターキーに対応しておりません。一本だけある鍵でしか開けられないのですが、その鍵はキーボックスから紛失しているのです。
She didn't want to get closer to the door with the creepy magic circle if she could. Rosa readied herself and approached, and tried pushing and pulling the knob. All she felt was the resistance of the sturdy lock.
入れる窓などがないか探してはみたのですが、もし中を確認するのでしたら窓を破らなければならないかと思います。
Go break it. Do it.
いかがいたしましょう。
そんな許可私に出せるわけがないわ。お父様の大切な礼拝堂なのよ。そんなことできないわよ。
At that time, the events of the previous day swirled around in the back of Rosa's mind. That's right. When she met that witch in the rose garden, didn't she hand Maria an envelope? That's right, there's no mistake. She'd handed it over. When Maria tried to open it, that witch told her not to open it yet, and she surely said, "The time to open that will come soon." Rosa was sure. There could be no mistake. That letter would have been handed to Maria. Well, we'll worry about that later. Children, are you dead? After dashing back to the guest house, Rosa approached the cousin's room while hiding her footsteps, softly opened the door and peered inside. From the inside, she could hear the healthy snores of young people. There were 4 children, and Maria was there. Oh, good. So yeah, the adults are definitely dead. I'm 1000% positive right now. At least the main adults, anyway. Anyway, we're going to stop here for today. And I guess we'll continue next time. Where we find the adults. Probably going to break a window. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll see if anyone's inside the mansion. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!